Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and what a wild and volatile market this is. When I started the day, the total crypto market was up over 8%. We're now currently, at the time of this recording, down 3.68%. And Bitcoin is trading in that mid $79,000 range, down 3.5%. XRP is down 4.2%. But, BNB, Solana, Doge, Tron, Cardano, Avalanche, Chainlink, Hedera, Stellar, Shiba, they're all down, yet in the red for the last 24-hour trading period. You really have only Flare and Onyx coin up. Flare is up 11%. It was up 30% for the day, so it has given back some of those gains. And Onyx coin up 73%, respectively. No, I can't find out any reason why. I'm talking about fundamentals, but when you look at the chart, I think since the market is so red now, this is my speculation, it is people that are just chasing green candles, and there aren't a lot of green candles to chase. So when you've got one that is really doing God candles like this, it's where the action's at. This is what I'm thinking now. If you can find some fundamental news on this particular project, I'd be welcome to see it in the comments. But I did search and gave it a little bit of time and triple checked and can't find anything. When I woke up, the stock market in Tokyo was just going gangbusters, up over 9%. I think it was the second largest gain for an opening ever. But yeah, I don't have a lot of hope that the market is going to open up like this in a few hours, because the US market was very soft today. The Dow Jones was down 2.7%, with a 1,125 point change in the red. And the NASDAQ also down 4.25%, losing 728. The S&P 500 down 3.4%. It is unfortunate that in the middle of all this chaos, Ripple, the company, had such a big announcement with their acquisition. They have put their sights on a company that's been very quiet. In fact, there's a very interesting backstory here. It's a quiet path to $1 billion exit. It's interesting that this company, Hidden Road, took just one seed round check. It was for $1 million back in 2019. And now, as you can catch up, the company just sold for over $1.2 billion. And it's really doing quite the service in the crypto industry in terms of prime brokerage. We're going to see a video clip that I found for you. So let's find out exactly what they do. You're going to hear from Michael Higgins, the global head of business development at Hidden Road Partners.
What is the role of a prime broker? It's actually quite simple. Prime brokers are commonly referred to as third-party credit providers, are there to inject capital into the market to allow clients to trade across a whole ecosystem in a safe, capital and cost-efficient way. Specifically for crypto, we as a prime broker allow the client to trade wherever they want, and on a post-trade basis, give up the positions to Hidden Road where they net and settle. And so very quickly, wherever they want is bucket one is the crypto exchanges and spot perpetual swaps, futures and options. Bucket two is the OTC market, where they face market makers bilaterally from trading, but they give up the position to the prime broker where it nets and settles. Bucket three for us is we're the only PB in the world that'll cross margin and margin finance native crypto against regulated futures and options, for example, CME. And finally, the fourth bucket is clients can trade on non-custodial ECNs where we provide credit, including the likes of Rule Match that are coming online and winning material market share. And so As a PB, we provide clients credit, margin financing to trade across all of these. We take away the counterparty risk they face and settle with us. It's a well-known, well-capitalized entity. What we're not doing is we're calling ourselves a PB and then giving clients a platform that routes all their trades. And in some instances, these so-called PBs are actually running trading desks. This is a very different business and one that presents very different risks and concerns that clients need to carefully evaluate. Many of these firms we hear calling them PBs are unregulated and thinly capitalized. So that's a little bit of perhaps why there's the haziness, what we do, and certainly what we do not do.
If that was hard to understand, I'm going to suggest play it again. But if you still can't absorb it all, I want to tell you that Krypton Rider wrote a really fantastic thread on X, and he is one to really follow if you want to have some educational, fact-based information. I'm sure you heard Paul Atkins was appointed as a commissioner of the SEC, but did you know that he also was the commissioner of the SEC in 2002? Yeah, so this is his second rodeo, and he will, of course, succeed Gary Gensler. And jumping over to Flare for a moment, because they have so much coming out of that team and the builders that are building on the Flare networks. It was on April 3rd that I had heard a prediction market was being developed by some OGs on the Flare networks. Yes. And today I had one of the team members on a Zoom, and I'm going to have them back on Saturday, and I'm learning about all their preparations. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. This is another team unlocking more XRP liquidity. Can you imagine what the rest of the year is going to be like? It will be something. I think the Firelight, Firelight 5, very cool name. Flare Networks, they're not messing around. Currently, there's 76 million of TVL, total value locked, on the Flare networks with the protocol ecosystem. How high will it go? Oh, I think it'll easily double or triple. In fact, wouldn't surprise me if it hits 1 billion. The Easy App guys, the brothers, are with Max Luck from Flare Networks in Paris, and you can see that when they were catching up together, they've cooked up a rather fun collaboration around the F Assets Bridge and XRP restaking application that's being built. The reason why this is so important is because protocols are valued very often. Now, whether it's right or wrong, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it just is what it is it's valued by how much is total value locked. And so that TVL is something that all the protocols chase. And that is a gauge for, at least in the blockchain ecosystem right now, how successful a chain is. That's why you want to pay attention. And with all of that building out of the different solutions for decentralized finance, you have the wallets. And wallets are very key to that adoption and to the growth. And here you see that Moonchaser, Minus, and myself were out with the builder of the Bifrost wallet yesterday. We spent the afternoon with them. That was just fantastic. There is something about the builders in this space that I just so admire. And it's just not Flare that's going to be staking XRP. We've got Axelar announcing that there is now Bitcoin staking. Yes, how are they doing it? Babylon Genesis, the world's first layer 1 blockchain secured by Bitcoin. They officially launched today. Now people can transform their idle Bitcoin in a decentralized finance economy, unlocking full utility as well. Today was the last day of the Paris Blockchain Week, and I've got a clip that I curated for you. It's of Ripple's managing director in the UK and Europe. That's Cassie Craddock. And just about 2 minutes. It's great to get an update from her. So until next time, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Cassie Craddock, Managing Director for the UK and Europe at Ripple. I've been at Ripple for 8 years now, so it's been quite the journey from, convincing banks to partner on a network to send cross-border payments, right through to being able to provide banks and financial institutions end-to-end digital asset infrastructure through payments, through custody, through stablecoin, and through tokenization use cases that we're going to talk about today. I think what's really been interesting from a Ripple perspective, I'm responsible for Europe, and I think what we've seen over the last year, 18 months, 2 years or so is MiCA has really given banks and financial institutions this level of certainty to be able to lean into the blockchain and digital asset space. And so we've seen some really great innovative use cases on the back of that. So, we partnered with SocGen Forge, one of the leading banks here in France, firstly around custody, but now more broadly on issuing their EuroCV stablecoin on XRP Ledger. There are many other use cases that we're partnering, our customers are partnering with us on around money market funds and bringing those on chain. And we're actually seeing that trend continue to increase as we start to see more institutional interest in this space. On the Ripple side, we're solving kind of the trapped liquidity issue with our cross-border payment product and enabling financial institutions to better service their customers by enabling them to have instant real-time payments through a kind of network of partners that enables to move cash from A to B. Now that could be physical cash, it could be stablecoins, it could be using XRP, and I think that's a really interesting, use case that we've seen mass adoption over the years from. And then just generally speaking, I think from our perspective, solving that cross-border payment problem was a first step. Doing that and building the infrastructure to be able to do that in a sophisticated way for banks and financial institutions just led us down the path of owning that kind of end-to-end digital asset infrastructure. And so the custody technology was really critical for us to acquire back in 2023 because we know that custody is the entry point. Before you do anything in digital asset, whether you're thinking about tokenization, whether you're thinking about payments or thinking about NFTs or whatever you're thinking about, you need to get your custody right and you need bank-grade custody. And so that critical piece of infrastructure is something that's now enabling us to partner with banks and financial institutions for them to tokenize, for them to create use cases that maybe we don't want to lean into, but to be able to use our technology to do that. I think it's really important, and Adelia and I, we work, given that we're the largest developer on the XRP ledger, Ripple wants to solve institutional financial use cases, right? But we want to create ecosystems where developers are pushing the boundaries, and I think that's been really interesting to see how these developers or these financial institutions leverage our technology to be able to, I guess, drive the future of financial services forward. User experience. Good user experience means that these, banks and financial institutions or consumers of these products, they need really good infrastructure to be able to power it. They need the right custodians, they need the right wallet, they need the right compliance tools to be able to really kind of power this on a truly global scale. And I think there are early signs and indications that both of these are in place, but I think we have we do have quite the journey to go in order to be able to really truly create this on a global scale.